I like that a lot because I used to do private lending, and I'm loaning one property at a time. Fortunately, we've never had a foreclosure out of the, I think, over 100 deals that we've landed on. Yeah, but we did came close to one, so it's hectic. But yeah, I love that ability to diversify that way. All right, let's switch gear into talk about your marketing. We talked about having our event just this past week, and one of the things that I noticed that you do at all of the events that you attend, and you're one of the very few, maybe like in at this past event, I think you were the only one that was doing that, where you are intentionally inviting people onto the site and interviewing them for your social media content. So share with us a bit about that strategy and then yeah, and then all the different ways that you leverage that content as well.
Yeah. So I love educating potential investors and others, right? So I think education is really key. I think this space offers so much opportunity to people, but a lot of people just don't know about it. And so I try to do a lot of educational content, but I think people get really tired of hearing from me. And I can only write and come up with so much. And there's just when you go to these events, there's so many knowledgeable people there that have wonderful things that they can share. So they can share about their personal journey, about their capital raising, if that's what they do, about things they're investing in, about the market. So instead of me always blabbering on about stuff, it's great to just put the mic in somebody else's hands and say, hey, tell us what you share. And so that's what I do. Yeah, I just bring some mics and ask people to share. And most people are very happy to do. And that helps them too, because they can use that for their marketing. I always give them a copy of it if they want. I always tag them on all the social media posts. I actually saw Trevor. I don't know if he's on today. He's often on these calls, but I had interviewed him and I actually saw that he pushed it out on his social media this morning. And I haven't even had a chance to post it yet, but he's got it out there, right? So it benefits both of us, right? It benefits everybody involved. And most importantly, it benefits those passive investors who can learn from that.
Yeah, and I like the way you do it too. The way you do it is very simple. You know, you're just recording on your phone, so it's nothing fancy. I've seen others where they have a videographer with them and and so of course that's extra staff that you have to have there at the events and extra cost. But the way that you do it is just here's the mic, hook it up, and then you just record on your phone. So it's super easy to do. Yeah, one of the things that as I was reflecting on the way that you did that, and one of the things that I see that Rob Bisley does really well is that at all of these events that he attends, he always try to schedule as many meetings as he can while he's there at the event. And so I was just thinking, oh, that's a good way to combine the two strategies. So you're already meeting people or you're already video recording people, why not just combine the two together to be a little bit longer conversation, but now you really get to know each other a bit more and how you can support each other. And so yeah, that's yeah. So I'm gonna give that a try. And I don't do enough of that. Actually, yeah, when I'm at events, so that's something I definitely would do. What's share with us? You do a lot of content, like you mentioned. How do you come up with ideas for your content? And you make it fun too, so it's not like boring stuff. I can imagine not only the idea for the content, but the idea of scripting, how to make it entertaining, how to make it more engaging. So give us some insights into your thought process on that.
I heard somebody say, just go through your calendar. Look what you've done that week. There's content all over your calendar already. Hey, I was on the Hero Capital Raising Party and I learned this, and you just share it. So a lot of it can just be from that, things you've done. The other thing is look through your camera photo reel. What have you taken pictures of? It might have been snapshots you took at a meeting or someone you met, and it may not be related to real estate. It might be something else. Like my son, my younger son Alex, he loves to rock climb, right? So I was taking pictures and video of him rock climbing. I'm like, scaling new heights. We actually use that in our upcoming boot camp promotions, right? It doesn't have to be real estate related, but you can tie it in, or maybe you're facing some issues, some challenges. People actually seem to gravitate towards the things that are going wrong more so than all the things that are going well. So I will often go, this didn't work out. Let's share it. Let's put it out there to the world so others maybe don't make that same mistake. So I actually love sharing my mistakes. And yeah, so I'll share funny stories. We might get into this later, but we're doing an event coming up in about a month. And I went to shoot a promo video for that. And my partner, Beth Underhill, I'm not sure if she's on here or not, but the idea was she's super fit. And we're in this gym and we're going to shoot this footage. I'm going to record it and she's going to do all this crazy stuff. She ends up twisting her ankle, not doing the stuff, but actually getting off the plane. And I hope she's not going to get mad at me for sharing this. So I had to do a lot more of it than I was anticipating doing. And I'm falling all over the place. I'm clumsy and this is not my forte. And I'm thinking maybe we'll get enough content that we'll be able to piece together some good pieces here. And then I thought, no, piece together all the falling,
Yeah.
all the mess ups, all the screw ups, do like a blooper reel because that's life, right? Sometimes stop going for the fancy stuff where it all works out and go for the mess.
Yeah, it's definitely make it more relatable for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And I know you have a super busy schedule as well, and you put out content very, very regularly, very, very consistently. How do you manage that, the content schedule as well?
Yeah, so having a wonderful VA, Christine, shout out to you. She's fantastic. And she really helps me with that. Well, once a week we go over what all we want to push out for the next week and we brainstorm ideas. And that's the other thing. It's to a point that she knows me so well. She knows me better than I know me, I think, when it comes to what I like to share and that kind of stuff. So sometimes she'll send me some stuff and say, go do this. And I just have to listen.
Mm,
She
I
was
love
like, oh,
that.
night I had this great idea, or over the weekend I was watching a movie about, and I just think you should talk about that, or whatever it is. And so she'll give me my homework and I just have to implement. And that's really wonderful. And again, back to education, I love doing webinars. And we have a local meetup group. I attend those. Being consistent, going to those, super powerful for raising money and just raising your network and getting yourself out there. But don't underestimate the local stuff. It doesn't
Yeah.
all have to be social media stuff. But one of the presentations I did there recently was how I lost $97,000, and you can too. Standing room only, sold out the house. People love those mistakes, but don't be afraid to share that. So that was a deal gone horribly wrong. It wasn't one I had raised money for. It was actually my very first LP investment before I knew what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, this is what can happen if you don't know what you're doing and you're not working with a capital allocator who can steer you the right way. I just jumped in, put in a bunch of money and put in 100K and got back 3. It's not a
Mm.
real good ROI. But I was
Yes.
able to teach people from that. I don't have to just cry about it. I can help people learn from that.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, all of us can, yeah. And there's definitely a theme here with the way that you generate your content. It's not just the informational, educational content, but the fun content, the mistake content, the lessons that you learned. It's a pretty wide range of content that you provide, so it's not all roses, right? So I love that, and that shows, it shows that vulnerability, that transparency, and I think that it makes you so much more relatable to your LPs. And yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense how you're a very successful capital raiser because of the content that you put out. What about a theme? Do you have theme for certain days of the week or certain week of the month or anything like that?
I used to do that in one of my Facebook groups. We have a Facebook group called Intelligent Investing for Independent Women. And we used to have themes for every day. I found it a little constraining, honestly. Like at first it was good because it made me think about, okay, it's motivational Monday. I got to do something motivational. Sometimes you're just not in a motivational mood. I'm not motivated today. And sometimes I just want the freedom to say, sometimes Mondays are hard. Maybe they're not so
Hmm.
motivation. So I broke away from that constraint, but it is a good way to start to make sure you're posting and you're getting your stuff out there to set a content. And I know a lot of people that do that successfully. I was successful with it for maybe 4 months. And then I was like, I did this really cool thing. I want to share it now, but it's the wrong day. And
Hmm.
just decided to break away from it. But
Right.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
other thing
that's
will really humble you in this space, and this goes back to Christine, my assistant, like I told her to take down my old YouTube videos because they're god awful. The really old stuff, it's just awful. I look at them and I cringe. And it's just, you do get better as you do this over time, right? And she said, no, you got to keep that stuff out there because that reminds you of where you've been and where you still have to go. So you look at that old stuff and you cringe, but it's out there and it makes you a real person. And then she'll share some like really good, clean, beautiful YouTube. So she goes, and this is where you need to go, just so you know you're not there yet. And so, yeah, that all worked.
I love that. All right. What other type of marketing that you do, whether it's social media or off? You mentioned, so let's recap a little bit. You mentioned about going to local networking events and building relationship there. We talked about interviewing other people when you're at events with them for their content. You're talking about just go through your normal day, go through your pictures, go through your calendar, and see what you've been doing because all of those can become content. What are some of the other things that you do that we haven't touched on yet?
Tons of podcasts, and I'm a member of your Hero Alliance, right? And you helped set us up with a lot of podcasts. So I think I did 37 in a row. And that was great because you get very comfortable talking in front of a mic, talking in front of the cameras. So it was great. But that also produces content, right? You can take clips from that, you can take the whole thing, you can share any portion of that. And then you're also promoting their channel. So they love that. It's good for everybody involved. So podcasts are great if you can get on podcasts. Yeah, those local events, absolutely attend as many as you can, but it's no point attending if you can't go regularly. So don't overschedule yourself to the point that you can't keep up with it, because then they'll be looking for you to have a question or whatever, and you're not there. So consistency is key with those. Getting out to other people's events. You throw great events. I love attending those, great networking at those events, and then throw your own events. I've done everything from little local meetups to evening get-togethers that we did like a piano bar kind of thing. And now I'm doing this big Biz Ninja bootcamp thing coming up at the end of October, which is going to be the biggest event I've done. But that's, yeah, just
Well,
I really believe in face-to-face.